All right, we're going live. You want to go sit over there? Sit on that side. Sit on that side so I can.
I gotta go.
Anyway, okay. Now,
You just play.
I know I need some more lighting here. We'll get it together, but we just want to. Yeah, I got the screen got touched, but anyway, we're live with the fraud department. And
welcome to the fraud department, everybody.
Yeah.
My name is Evan Clarkville, a sophomore biology major, entrepreneurship minor from D.
Okay, even though the fraud department is currently in a takedown at Morehouse College, but that's okay. We still love them.
Hey, man.
But anyway, go ahead with what you were saying. We were kind of just talking. We decided to turn on the live because we was getting heated on some stuff. But go ahead. What you were saying.
Basically, what we were talking about was the state of Black America. That wasn't officially what we were talking about, but we roundabout we got around to that street.
What it's wrapping around to.
We were in the zip code, and we were just talking about the transition that is taking place over the last 400 years. You know what I'm saying? We went from chattel slavery to, 3/5 of a human, and now we're official citizens of this country that we built. And it's like,
are we official citizens?
I would say.
Oh yeah, because I know we were talking earlier about, was it Kyrie? What's his name? Kyrie Irving. Yeah, and how he posted that. What was it, from Hebrews to Negro? And sad, sorta, but not. I mean, change doesn't happen. Just things like this. Things that are in the spotlight. But here's the thing. And one thing that I said earlier, because I think what you were saying is that anytime you speak about Jewish people, at any point in time about anything, seems like then you're being anti-Semitic, which is also why Kanye, or excuse me, Ye.
Yes, yeah.
Ye. Okay. Why Ye has has been canceled at the moment, and he was the baddest person on the planet. Could really go out there, and we thought Kanye was indestructible as far as what he could go out there and say, and
Jesus,
yeah. But anyway, but to me, and I'll just say this is probably the unpopular opinion in the community, but I think that, because I think what was said by some people was that they were doing too much. Like I said, anytime you said anything about Jews, it's anti-Semitic. And I kind of feel like it's no different than, the way that Black people overuse and abuse the race card. They'll, just to try to get out of something, they sometimes know something ain't got nothing to do with race, but let's
take that back to the
they'll pull that card regardless.
We were talking about transgenerational epigenetic inheritance, which is fundamentally the storage of trauma. Well, I'm not even gonna say trauma. The storage of experiences locked in the DNA, and their expression, their gene expression. So the gene expression for the analogy that we were using was Black people, or just people feeling like they are owed something, and regardless in a situation where, let's say, they're being paid for a certain amount of time, they feel like they're never to go over that, and that they are the prize, and because we believe that there may be some locked up.
Yeah, I think I was working on a set filming for something, and what I realized is that for most people, for most groups of people, in the workplace and in the workforce, they want to be great, they want to shine. So going above and beyond is almost like, a badge of honor. For a lot of African Americans that I've overheard, not all, I'm not going to say all or speak in any absolutes. There's all sorts of Black people across the spectrum, but going above and beyond for them is an insult, and I think it goes back to this, what is it, the epigenetic, what have you?
Yeah, transgenerational epigenetic inheritance.
Okay, so for a lot of Black people, even though we weren't necessarily slaves, chattel slaves, they still feel those feelings, that energy of the ancestors that were, and being underpaid or not paid at all. And so, like, I've overheard people saying, "Oh, they paying me $140 an hour. I mean, $140 for the day. They ain't getting nothing but $140 worth of work out of me. Like, you're not getting a dime more than what you're paying for." And that's because, and it's not because they're lazy. It's just that because historically and generationally, we have not been paid.
We've not been compensated for.
We haven't been compensated. And so now it's just a matter of, well, nobody's going to, keep work. Nobody's going to work for free. And so that's what kind of where that came from. Just kind of hearing that, it just kind of clicked for me, why there are a lot of Black people that, kind of feel that way in the workplace. And I mean, never mind the generational stuff, but I mean, we have also in the workplace been historically underpaid, been paid less than the similar to the women's struggle, women versus men have not been paid. The white man is historically paid the most for doing either the same or less work. And it's kind of just it's kind of like it's like, even though because I know there've been a couple of times I've been on jobs or done some freelance work for people, and I've made it, I've wanted to go above and beyond. I've wanted to kind of do some extra stuff, but I knew it wasn't going to be appreciated. It wasn't going to be compensated. And, so I just made a decision that, no, you've only hired me to do this. I know you need this over here, but that's not what you're paying me to do. And I had to just, honor myself and my own value and say, I'm not going to do all this extra, right. And if you want me to do that, and what I told them was, this is what you need. If you want me to do this extra, then we need to reevaluate the compensation for what I'm doing.
And the thing is, Black people were never at a table where they got to negotiate their work terms in the last 400 years. It's either been determined by an external individual, or an example that we use as sharecropping, or speaking of the period where we technically weren't slaves, we were just, workers by force, not by choice. Mm-hmm. That's all I'm saying. So there's never been a negotiation. And I think now we're the point where we do get to negotiate. We still miss the ball a lot. We still undershoot just because we're so far behind. We're trying to catch up years of backpack.
Or even when sometimes I look at some Black-owned businesses, they often are way higher priced than, say, the white counterparts. Now, part of is it because we overvalue ourselves now, or is it because we just don't have the resource? That's really the actual cost. We just don't have the resources like the white man does to offer a cheaper product,
mass production,
to offer mass production. So I do think that in some cases we're missing the mark, and definitely overvaluing ourselves. Because here's the thing, and I asked this question earlier, like, I don't know what Black people want. Okay. We, it's not enough to have certain opportunities, right, present. I mean, because anybody can do whatever they want to do. Everybody can go to college. Everybody can, get a still, the opportunities are out there. So nobody's denying you any opportunities. But I think that in the collective mindset, we want true acceptance. We want, it's not enough just to provide the opportunity. We want to change everybody's mind. And I just don't think that's a realistic expectation.
Let's speak on this, because the situation is global. Okay. Now we're speaking about our experience. Black people, what we have to understand is our experience in America is so, I'm not going to call it divine, but it is so unique for so many reasons. And our other Black counterparts throughout the world, I feel like they look at us. I feel like they look at us in many ways, because you get the great shining figures that, Black people have been able to account for up to this point in modern history. But
So shiny figures.
The Oprahs, the Michael Jordans.
The tokens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why I said figures, because
Yeah.
it's something that you look at. It's not something that actually is working, you know what I'm saying, in your community. Michael Jordan said Republicans buy sneakers too. I'm not talking about nothing political on this shit.
And let's not demean anything that any of these people have done. Tokens can sometimes insinuate that they're being put in positions without merit, but we definitely appreciate and respect and value the Oprahs of the world.
You, Oprah.
And see you soon, girl. Put night in the universe. But yeah, I mean, and the accomplishments of, say, your Michael Jordans or whatever, but at the end of the day, no matter how many Oprah level individuals we have in their mind state or in their ability, they're not going to let too many of us get to that level. They're not going to let too many Oprahs really on the scene. That's just.
And what I want to speak to is two things. We were talking about realisticness, right? What we have to understand is we built a country that was designed to see one type of individual succeed. And for the most part, they've done a very good job with that. What they understood was, if we're going to keep these people working for us, paying taxes and being citizens, we have to give them some level of progress that lets them sleep at night. We can't just keep them, you know what I'm saying, Jim Crow, you know what I'm saying, fighting, marching and shit. We gotta let them be happy, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say happy, because let's not undermine the situation. But at the end of the day, the figures that we do get when it comes to, let's talk about Martin Luther King, talk about Oprah, we can go to sports, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. I think the situation is more so that these individuals, I know in my childhood, you write about these people in school. These people give you inspiration. They make you feel like you can achieve great things. And I feel like that is very important. But at the same time, those people feel distant. Unless you grew up in North Carolina and went to Laney High School or wherever Oprah's, that's where Michael Jordan's from. As far as Oprah, like, if you're not really connected, these things feel unapproachable. But when you have an organization that's succeeding, when you have a group of Black people where, they're all shining, there's not like one person that's, running the show. Because whenever you have one person that's a figure, they can be under someone's thumb. An organization can never be under someone's thumb.
Yeah, so let's talk about that real quick, because we were talking earlier about Ye, and back to Kyrie Irving, because we were talking about how it appears that he's been canceled as well, or he's been suspended, and for what exactly, just posting a video of something that's still on, posting an Amazon video. You said it's on Amazon, right? Because I want to watch it later.
Let's be very frank. He shared a public documentary on a the number 3 streaming platform in the world. He did not post any videos that were unavailable to the public. He did not. All he did was raise awareness.
But he's I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he's a slave right now. So you can't go against any of the slave masters or whatever, because as long as you're under contract, these people, and you're a paid slave, but as long as you're under contract, that means you got chains and shackles on you and what you can do and who you can be.
But I understand exactly where you're going, but
unfortunately, and again, I don't always have the popular opinion, but from a legal aspect, it's kind of like, if you're on this journey of self-discovery and this path, and you want to be free, you can't be under a signed contract. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're not going. This society, the culture is not going to let you have both. You can't be, because you've agreed, just like with me, for example. I am who I am. I've got markings, tattoos on my face. Okay. But when I go, and I typically am very proud of it wherever I go, I don't hide it or cover it. But recently I had the opportunity to do some assist with some campaign work and things like that, and did a little bit of door knocking. And so when I do those types of things, either for pay or volunteering, because I know that I've agreed to represent someone else, okay, I cover those things, because I know that it's not always well received. It's a conversation piece. It can, it can be distracting. So I'm okay with covering it. It doesn't change my identity or who I am. But if I sign up to go represent someone else, I can't be waving the flag talking about I want to be an individual. Like, that's not, you know what I'm saying? That's not what you signed up for. So you have to, you can't live in you can't operate within the matrix and still want to be, you can't operate inside and outside the matrix. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got to pick one or the other. And if you, like I said, if you've signed a contract, you basically made a deal with the devil for all this money, whatever these contracts are, like, what, millions of dollars. What is the cheapest NBA? What does the cheapest NBA player get paid? Just the bench warmers. Don't they get like $500,000 a year or something like that? Yeah. So you're basically signing deals with the devil, okay, for money, and then complaining. Or maybe, he's not complaining. Other people are complaining or upset when.
I'm trying to get how you feel about his actual action, because I get what you're saying about everything, and I get what you're saying about everything.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with what he did, but there's a consequence.
Yeah, like I want you to speak on it as you're educating other people. I don't want it to be a situation where everyone's trying to undermine the decision. Like, yeah, he literally He signed.
And you said he's fine. He seems fine with it. He said, I don't follow all this stuff.
Yeah, he's like, look, guys, this is a part of the game. Like, he's no one is like I said, he's not. They're trying to bend him over, but he's just walking out the door. So I get what you're saying about he signed a contract, but he's not finna. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what, and whether he may have an understanding of it, and he may be at peace with it. But I guess the message is more to other people that, hey, these people, these sports players and stuff can't do whatever they want to do. They can't lead your revolution. They can't be the influencers that you really want them to be, because they're shackled and chained to these contracts. And anytime they step outside of what's acceptable, there it goes. It's a huge sacrifice.
So to make this a resourceful podcast, because this is what we're doing at the front department. We're not here to bitch and moan like
Watch your mouth, son.
Sorry. We're here to be resourceful. So the whole point of saying that is that when we talk about these figures that Black people often get, they have to, unfortunately, are athletes, entertainers, and people that are under contract. These are independent contractors. These are people that are going out and using their God-given abilities, whether it's artistic, whether it's physical, whether it's mental. They're under contract. So when it comes to our revolutionaries,
or they're not slaves, sorry, they're indentured servants.
Indentured servants, whatever you want to call it. These are all synonyms. So when you're dealing with what we call it revolution, because that's what Black people need at this point. We have to be very resourceful in how we scour our population to find these individuals. You know what I'm saying? We need to find the most educated, the most exposed, the most.
But you know what? I think what Black people really need to do.
We don't need leaders, but that's all we appeal to.
Black people need to do some work on self first, right, before they can really affect any change in society. Because right now, in a lot of instances, we just look angry. Anger doesn't bring resolution to anything. Why did now? Of course, we had a little longer trail of tears, for over, hundreds of years that we have to fight back from. But when you look at groups like our beloved Jewish people, I've got Jewish people in my family. We love them. Nothing anti-Semitic about the conversation. But when you look at a group of people like that who suffered. Yeah, no, I got to preface to make sure that, I don't want to ever, like I said, I have family members who are Jewish. So I never wanted to even thought about that, that I'm anything, but I love all people. Anyways, but you see how they went through significant trauma as a people, but they were still they've been able to bounce back. They've been able to, they're, running a lot of things that we don't even realize.
It's almost like they used it as fuel. It's almost like they were being resourceful with the situation. We know that the ADL tells everyone to go to the Holocaust Museum and do your research about our history. That's just because no one's proud about a Holocaust or what, a slavery, mass murders and things like that. But what it does is it provides context as to what's in your DNA. You know what I'm saying? What your lineage is, what the experience that makes up.
I mean, and the truth of the matter is that since, you know, every group, race of people, white people were enslaving white people too. Like every group or race of people on this planet has been enslaved at one point or the other. And somewhere further down the podcast, we'll get into why we're really here anyway. But you know, I believe, and I'm just going to throw this out there too, is that we really are a monitored experiment going on. I mean, if you look at, you know, as they say,
it's a melting
the
pot.
law of correspondence says,
it's a shit stew.
the universal law of correspondence says, as above, so below. Okay. So what do we do down here when we want to study a species, right? We want to study, let's say we want to study, I don't know, the elephants of wherever. We bag them and tag them, right? We tag them, we put a number on them, we watch everything they do, we take, you know, samples of their blood, we do all this stuff. So what makes us not understand that the same thing is going on above? You know, we're the only group of people, we're the only species that has to pay to live here, has to be tracked, has to be identified, tracked, and monitored throughout its life.
Did you know that elephants don't know that they're called elephants? But humans know they're called humans.
You said what?
I said elephants don't know that they're called elephants.
True.
Humans know that they're called humans. So that just goes to show you that it's all in this big ass brain they gave us. That's what they effed up at, for lack of a better word.
But they elevated us above the animals at a point, kind of what they talk about in the biblical stories in the book of Genesis.
Genesis.
Yes, the generations.
I was explaining that to her the other day.
Yeah, the generations of ISIS. Really,
it's another generation. It's not the start.
Right, it's not the start. It was just the generation that they. Yeah, got it. They flipped the script on us, you know, basically turned the light on and gave us, you know, some additional, a higher level of consciousness than, you know, animals are not aware of what's really going on. They operate instinctually and they, you know, they can act and react because they have a singular consciousness. Humans are the only ones that have divided consciousness, you know, animals. Pretty much, you know, when you do whatever to an animal, this animal, that animal of the same species, they're going to react the same way. Who's that? Oh, no.
Ye just posted.
Who won? Did something? What time is it?
Ye posted that Herschel vote.gop or teamherschel.com/vote.
Oh, he's Team Herschel. Oh, yeah, because he's a Trump supporter.
He's Republican. That's the thing. Black people don't really understand that neither of these parties are really here for us. And most of our views are actually conservative, but the Democrats have tricked us into believing that we're actually liberal and that they're going to fight.
It's the same concept. It's the same concept. They're the exact same. It's just in the same way that love and hate are the same emotion, right, just at different ends of the spectrum.
Okay, but Raphael Warnock has 50%.
Does he?
Yeah.
Does he really good?
And
okay, but on
49.74.
Okay, how many precincts reporting? Sorry, y'all. Excuse us.
This is live. This is the Tuesday.
We gotta check in. Yes, this is December 6th, 126. And we had a runoff election today with our incumbent, Democratic incumbent Senator, Reverend Senator Raphael Warnock. And who was of Morehouse College. And Herschel Walker, what was he? Who did he play for? He's a I don't know, a brain damaged ex-football player.
Brain damaged SEC running back.
Okay.
Went to the University of Georgia.
Oh, he didn't go to the NFL?
He did. He played for the Cowboys a little bit. But people are known. His NFL career was nothing compared to what he's known for regarding his college football career. Georgia, like he was the best running back in his time.
Okay.
In college.
Okay. Anyway, so we said what now is 50%. Right now, Warnock has 50%. Mr. Brown said, "Go Warnock."
What you got glasses on for? You ain't giving us no data.
I know. I'm trying to find more.
Yeah, come on, fraud department. Come on with the data. What do we got going on? But anyway, what was I saying? Before that. I'm gonna have to rewind. What was I saying just before the?
I don't know. You're just talking about black people. I don't want to talk about black people.
I don't know. Huh? It's an exhausting
Like
topic.
I don't want to talk about what's wrong. I want to talk about where we can go because we can talk all fucking day about
The whole thing is everybody's always. This is the problem with change. This is why change is so brutal and so gets dragged out for so long because everybody's always focused on changing something external. You know what I'm saying? Nobody is really looking at. I just have to change myself. And
They think the government's gonna give them money.
everything starts
For what they do.
within, and
And that's why I love 19 Keys so much because he's talking about how can I change your mind so that you can start creating your reality by giving you skills, improving your emotional intelligence, your spiritual awareness, and your, technological skills.
or and I look
It's
at
very simple. Reprogram your mind. You know what I mean?
Oh, I think we were talking about Yeezy. He's Democrat. He's that's what we were talking about. Kanye. He's Republican.
Oh, we were talking about the two parties. They're not.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
They're
So
the same
yeah,
thing.
it's just like with love and hate. It's the exact same emotion, just two ends of the spectrum. Wet and dry, same exact thing, just two different ends of the spectrum. And we could do a episode explaining that, or we can share one on the fraud department that kind of explains that concept. But Democrat, Republican, same thing. They're the same thing, just different ends of the spectrum. They go about things a slightly different way, but the goal is same. Oh, this is what we wanted to talk about too today was in determining, where you can pull truth from. You have to start by looking at your society and what is the goal of your society. We were talking about that earlier. And unfortunately, the goal in a capitalistic society is to make money. And so everything they do, so this is why we're lied to so much, because we're lied to and manipulated to make money. Oh, I know what I was talking about before. It was the generations of ISIS. I was going into the experimentation, but we'll get back to all that soon. What you got?
Nothing. That's it. It's just 50%.
It just said, but didn't say how many precincts were reporting. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 10 o'clock here.
Yeah.
So we should have some good results. We're gonna have to turn on. We have to tune into our friends at WSB Channel 2.
Tune in some programming
and see what's going on.
News, entertainment, weather, and sports. The news.
Actually, I don't know. I'd have to have Hulu. How can I get it on this TV? I usually watch it on my phone. I watch the app. Anyway, maybe another time. We'll figure that out. We're great at
You should be able to go to WSBTV.com. Oh, that's what you're saying.
We're great at being the fraud department, not a whole super great yet at the whole podcasting thing. So we'll get it figured out. But just like everything else, and that's why a lot of these videos and live streams are gonna just be raw footage. You gotta start somewhere, you gotta figure it out. So I'd rather just have something unedited. That Mm-hmm. You can come by.
No, it's okay. I was gonna cook the cookie.
Anywho, so
We should, bro.
so for me, okay, so let's just bring it back to me. So for me, I feel like back to what I originally said a few minutes ago is what is it that Black people actually want? Because the problem is there really is no such thing as quote unquote Black people. We're not we are so different, so diverse. Like I don't really look at African Americans as having like their own unique culture. Even when you go to Africa, all the different tribes and stuff got their own culture, got their own thing going on. And so here it's just hard it's like, how do you get any collective results if you don't actually have a collective consciousnness?
That's facts. The thing is, the reason why we don't have our own consciousness is because it's been implanted into us. Like I said, transgenerational epigenetic inheritance.
You just like saying that, don't you?
I do. And I just want people to, you know, it's a fun thing
How many
to say.
syllables is that? I don't even know if I could say that.
Okay.
But no, anyways.
Basically, genes, okay? And your genes got a lot of bull crap.
DNA, we have the science has now proven that DNA carries memories. You can
Real memories
real memories,
that you can unlock.
real trauma,
Just like how you don't know exactly what you ate last Monday.
real
for lunch.
anxiety. Your body knows
Right.
what you ate.
Exactly. Your cells know. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing. The DNA, the memories, all that stuff is locked away into these cells. You know what I'm saying? And that's why when we talk about these diseases, that is just other forms of cell death. That's why you have a lot of these problems that go outside of the body. It spreads to your entire electromagnetic field. You know, it's all about how much. What are you? What rate of frequency are you at? There's sick rates. There's rates that are death before death. You know, there's rates that are ascension. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you have to be conscious, and you
measured.
have to be conscious of it. I know, like yesterday wasn't a great day for me. I had a lot of, you know, I'm dealing with my father's estate and trying to get that resolved, and just fighting with Morehouse about me. Like, there's a lot of money fights right now. Just trying to either get money in that's owed, get people to release money that's due. You know, just all over the place. It's like none of the money coming in is coming in, you know, fast enough. And so anyway, I woke up first thing in the morning and I just felt like this just jolt of anxiety. It was just like in the pit of my stomach. I just felt down, and I had to really tell myself, no, bitch, you cannot start vibrating. That's a low vibrating frequency. Everything's okay. And what happened was I had a trajectory. I had a plan. I was getting ready to do A, B, C, D, and E. Had a call from somebody, maybe attorney or somebody, and he kind of discouraged. He just said, "Oh, well, you know, this might not work." And I really got discouraged by that. And I'm like, whatever, it'll work for me. Like, you know what I mean? That's just the command that I put on the universe. You know what I mean? And so, but I had to catch myself, and I had to say, like, okay, all right, universe, enough is enough. We're going to get all this in. We're going to get some traction. Everything's going to get moving and you find whatever. And it took a lot. You know, probably by midday, I was feeling better. That kind of nervous feeling, you know, was gone. And then today there's been a lot of movement. Every situation has checked in. I can't say every situation is resolved, but every situation is checked in. And it's a daily thing, you know, as conscious as I feel like I am, which is always it's a never-ending journey to raising your consciousness. There's no like, oh, I'm conscious now. Oh, I'm woke now. No, it's a continual process of waking, learning. Are you even listening to me, or are you and your family?
I'm trying to scavenge some food. Okay.
Food? What do you need? You hungry, bud? Yeah. There's some those veggies are still in there. Some of that. You can eat some of that. And I got the food. Did you eat the Whole Foods? There's braised cabbage, jerk green beans.
You ate that already?
I don't know. I was about to say I saved all that for you. And cookies and like, wow, what do you want? But anyways, we're not good at this podcasting. We get sidetracked. What was I saying? That'll tell me if you were actually listening to me or not. What was I saying?
You were saying that every situation is checked in today, and it's not.
Oh yeah, it's a daily struggle with balancing your actual energy, staying conscious. It's a daily struggle with keep. You know, it's like once you raise your vibrations, they're not just up forever. You have to keep them up. You know what I'm saying? It's a daily struggle, and balance, a juggling act of being self-aware, being situationally aware, and then recognizing, you know, what, you know, having the tools in your toolbox to address the feelings that come up and the anxieties.
Being able to assess your frequency is very important, and I feel like I don't know if that's talking about it now. People tell you need to do that. You need to be here. You're here because you're sick, but they don't tell you how to figure out where you're at.
Yeah.
They don't tell you they don't give you a compass that says you need to go north. You know what I'm saying? They just like, you're not where you're supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? This is not where you're supposed to, like, go somewhere else.
Oh yeah. I can always tell when I'm vibrating low.
Right.
You know, not only
Because you're tapped into yourself.
not only you got to know thyself and then master thyself. Know thyself, understand thyself, master thyself. But oftentimes
So like I was saying, when it comes to dealing with keeping your vibrations up, what you have to understand is once you start raising your vibration, you created a new standard. Just like the car you drive, just like the house you live in, people get standards, they get comfortable. You expect your water to be certain high, you want this certain type of water pressure. But at the end of the day, all that stuff is like that. You know what I mean? A hurricane, some hail, your windshield is broken, your house flew away. Like, you know what I'm saying? All this stuff is literally it's a matrix. Like the earth would change these elements into a whole nother form, put it back into the dirt, and it'll be a forest here by the time.
Yeah, it's constantly throwing stuff at you to adjust, adapt, figure out.
The first thing I learned in biology was that characterizing living things, all living things are able to maintain a certain state at disequilibrium with the environment. To be alive is to be at disequilibrium with the environment. You understand what I'm saying? It sounds backwards, but when something's dead, you're at the same temperature the world is at. You're moving. Like when a leaf falls from a tree, it's gonna flow with the wind. You know what I'm saying? When you're living, you're working against gravity. You're sweating to stay cool. You're digesting food to keep energy so that your heart can keep pumping in your brain.
Yeah, the elements and the earth are always working again. Like there's always this need to be in balance, right? This homeostasis, or just not just of the body but of the soul too. So there's always things working. There's
always
forces. Yeah, just like when you're trying to go forward, the wind is coming at you. There's always, and if there wasn't, like you said, we wouldn't necessarily exist. If everything was equal, it would just be one mass thing. There would be no separation. There would be no recognition of each other if we weren't different or vibrating at a different frequency.
When you take it to biochemistry, when we're looking at the periodic table of elements, there would be no significance for the periodic table if there was no variation in the atom. There was no thing that says this is acting different than this. That's why it repulses. These react with this. We're able to see that this is one Lego piece. This is a different Lego piece. They create this other Lego piece we call water. They create this other Lego piece we call a human cell. You see what I'm saying? That's an entire structure. So, like I said, when it comes down to the cell, the prokaryotic cell, the first thing that came on the planet, it first had to learn how to be at disequilibrium with the environment and then reproduce. The next thing, living things reproduce. So when it comes to reproduction,
right, like babies start out as one cell,
right,
and then
and I don't even want to get as far as babies. We produce things in our mind every day. Your mind is a computer program that you design every day. So whatever habits that you fall into, whatever stimuli that you become addicted to,
operating system.
It's an operating system. So you reproduce, you manifest your reality on a daily basis. We understand that. If you didn't have senses, if you weren't tapped into your senses, you couldn't experience the world. You couldn't see, hear, touch, or feel anything besides, whatever you were put in when you were that cell, I guess. So,
yeah, I mean, this is the only way, and through our bodies and the vehicle that we were given, it's the only way to experience the earth is through those senses.
And we'll talk about that on another podcast. I was going to bring up a topic that, you're renting this situation you got here, how sexy, how ugly it is, how messed up, how great, however you feel about it, you're renting it. It's a lease, actually. It's a contract that you signed before you came. You just don't know about it. We don't got to talk about that. I want to scare you. But
yeah, if y'all are losing track here, he's talking about we're talking about our physical bodies being likened to, a vehicle that we lease, that our souls or our energy leases in order to navigate through the earth.
And you want to talk about Kyrie. We can bring this all the way back to Kyrie. You're talking about these deals or these contracts with the devil. Anybody that's an indentured servant, they're signing these things. But let's talk about the first contract that was signed. That no matter what you do on this planet, you're talking about these contracts. The only reason why this contract has any merit is because if I don't follow it, then I know that there's a system, there's a jurisdiction that's gonna
keep me in line.
Right. So when we talk about Kyrie,
to lay out the consequences.
Right, and just to ensure that we're not criticizing Kyrie or anything like that. He signed a deal to ascend to his highest level when he came on his planet. You know what I'm saying? Before he touched the basketball, before he met a Brooklyn Net, met a Cleveland Cavalier, went to Duke, high school, any of that, he signed a deal to become his highest self. So whatever happens in between there, whatever contracts, whatever agreements, whatever relationships, at the end of the day, whoever's listening right now, welcome to the Fraud Department. Hit that like button and understand that you have a duty to yourself every day to serve your highest purpose. And even if you don't know what your highest purpose is yet, you vibrating as high as possible is the only way you're going to get there. So
having standards is the next big thing for raising your vibrations. Like you've got to have standards, not just standards for dating or choosing a mate, but standards.
What water you drink? Y'all want to argue about alkaline water, Kroger water, spring water,
who cares?
Tap water?
You're not supposed to be drinking water
Come
anyway.
on, man.
But
Y'all all
we've got to
look
have
stupid out here,
standards
man.
we've got to have. I think going back to
spiritual
the
standards. Let's have some damn spiritual standards out here.
Or just going back to the vehicle analogy, it's like I think you said earlier this week that people care more about what goes into their car, when they're purchasing a car,
What
what
they put in their car. I don't do that synthetic oil.
What features and what oil and stuff like that goes in their car than they do what actually goes into their bodies. And unfortunately, it's like the body, the worst, if you put premium, if you premium stuff in your car, then you shouldn't really expect to have to replace as many parts, and things like that. But the human body, it really is just like a vehicle. I mean, we put the wrong kind of gas in it, and then next thing you know, it's breaking down and we're having to replace parts. We're replacing whole organs and shit. Like,
and y'all let them do it. Y'all let them take out your thyroid, not your thyroid. You let them take out your tonsils. Let them take out one of your kidneys. It's all bad. But let's talk about the car was designed. Most of all technology is designed based on the human body. Whether it's a computer, a car, anything like that, it's based on the human body. So I use those analogies in order for us to understand our bodies, because people like to diminish who they are. Like, you have no self-love for yourself. So you're like, oh, I get to just eat whatever I want, do whatever I want because I ain't shit. I'm just another brother down the street. But like, bro, you have a whole God body, a whole manifestation of the entity, the force that created you, and you treat it like it's a man, I don't even know. I can't even make an analogy. Like, people treat trash cans better. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least you know your trash can has a purpose. That it needs to be there when it's there. You know what I'm saying? People treat their body like you're not. Like, I want people to understand that you're not.
It's like people who don't know. You get a car. I mean, a Honda can take regular gas, whatever, but you get a Benz, you got to know that you got to put a higher level grade gasoline in it. And if you don't, it's going to sputter. It's going to act kind of funky. You know what I mean? It's going to.
But it's not even.
It's not going to run optimally.
Right. But gas is only.
It ain't going to last long.
Gas is only one part of the situation. It's very optimal. You can mess up very fast with gas. We understand what you eat. Blah, blah, you can throw up if you eat something that you're allergic to just that fast. But what I want people to understand is, how do you drive that car? You know what I'm saying? Not even what you put in it, not even how you maintain it. How are you operating on it? Do you even look at that car? Do you even value it? Like, after you buy some shoes, they don't look as cool as they did online because they're in your house now. They're in your dirty ass house. So they're like, oh, it's just another one of my shoes. You toss them on the floor when you get home. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't thinking that when you was at the store at Foot Locker. You was like, ooh, don't touch them. You know what I'm saying? You get mad at your kid because they touching you know what I'm saying? But you don't even value your kid's body more than you value. That's another. Oh, thanks.
I'm just saying, I have their student.
Yeah, we're good. Anyways, so I want to.
This other cookie? Are you eating it?
Eat your pickles, Mom. Don't do it.
I did. I just ate some pickles.
Don't do it.
Anyways.
Fraud Department. She's over there in brown butter cookies. And kombucha. And limes.
Put my limes in it.
Anyway, so I was just saying that gas is only one part of the the aspect of how we operate in these vehicles. It's also about what navigation you put in that mug, what tires you put on that mug. Trying to make another analogy. Your windshield is your eyes, so what are you exposed to? Last podcast we talked about people that are so entitled and so enthralled with being the king or the queens of their city or their neighborhood, but not about how much life and how many other locations they've really seen. It's really unfortunate, but I'm more proud of saying how what places my car has driven. My car has been back and forth across the country.
I've been to all 50 states.
But I've been.
I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere.
Anyways, so yeah, I would be more impressed with talking about the longevity of my car, talking about, okay, yeah, so I'm about to break this down. I'd rather talk about the longevity, the safety, how well I kept up my car, rather than talk about how reckless, how fast, and how stupid I used it. You know what I'm saying? Because we celebrate death. We celebrate the closer you come to death, and you can still maintain whatever your image is. It's like, yeah, bro, you did something.
Yeah, like Evel Knievel, and he was the Daredevil, walked across wires. Yeah, like we celebrate the Daredevil.
Right. But the Daredevil
and the devil.
But the Daredevil isn't even close, because he actually, I'm not gonna say he never got hurt, because I don't know exactly what everything he did, but he was doing dangerous stuff successfully. We go out and drink, we know that there's no repercussion once you put that liquor down your throat. You know what I'm saying? Like we celebrate actual damage. I don't know how
successful he was. I mean, he did die, whatever, but he and I don't know how many broken bones or I don't know.
I'm just saying Daredevil activities and stunts is a little bit different than actual destruction. You participate in destruction every time you come home. Mm-hmm. And I'm talking about like it's different. Like you go home and put holes in your tire every night. But you don't look at it like that. You just like, oh, I'm just staying up late. You're putting holes in your brain. You don't look at it like, oh, I'm doing this, but you know what I'm saying? You poking out your lungs, or you damaging your skin. You know what I'm saying? With the makeup and the crystals that we put on our faces. A lot of y'all don't even understand where those that shiny material comes from in the makeup. It actually comes from a lot of crystals that are native to a lot of African countries. So similar to chocolate. Oh, that shit's slave labor. So, Olay, what's another one? Women, makeup companies.
Neither one of us wear makeup.
I know.
Right? Like,
oh, Mary Kay? Mary Kay?
Did you say Mary J? Okay, we gotta go.
We out.
All right. How to murder out? Like, right? You really said Mary J? Mary J?
Yo, my stomach. Oh, it hurts.
Yeah, we don't put all that.
Mary J, bro.
All right. And on that note, we're gonna end the stream. Maybe start again.